So for the example that I want to give you and the exercise I want to give you for creating $10 million to come into your life, I want you to do this before you go to sleep at night, and it's very simple. You don't need to visualize. You don't need to believe. In this video, I'm going to reveal a secret about manifestation and how you can start using this in your life today. And I'm going to give you examples and I'm going to give you exercises on how you can start applying this in your life today. And you may have heard this before, but I'm going to explain this in a different way. That way it's going to click for you. You're going to understand the secret about manifestation and how to attract things and assume things that become facts in your world. And the difference between success and failure is when you look at things mentally or you look at things spiritually. And when you look at things mentally by comparing it with other things, you are going to fail 99% of the time when you're manifesting. But if you look at things spiritually and you think from it, you think from the thing and you think spiritually of the thing and you connect with it by becoming the thing, by becoming and shifting your personality and your concept of the person that you want to be or of the person of already having the things that you want. That is the secret to manifestation, but I'm going to give you some examples and I'm going to give you some exercises where you can start applying this in your life today. So I'm going to start off with an example of creating money into your life, and then I'm going to move into relationships and different material objects. That way you can understand how this works. Okay, so if you wanted to create or you wanted to manifest $10 million in your life within the next year or 2 years or even sooner than that, what you must understand is you must look at this spiritually and not mentally. So you got to stop comparing it and wondering how it's going to come, if it's going to come, do I deserve this? All these things come when you start thinking mentally. You start thinking with your ego. You start comparing it with this person, that person. This person had to do this to get it. This person had to do this to get it. And then you are disconnected from being the thing itself. But when you think about it spiritually, when you become the thing and you visualize or you affirm or you script of already having the thing, that's when you have spiritually become the thing and you will manifest it. So for the example that I want to give you and the exercise I want to give you for creating $10 million to come into your life, I want you to do this before you go to sleep at night, and it's very simple. You don't need to visualize, you don't need to believe, you don't need to script, you don't need to affirm. You're just going to do these simple steps that are going to take just a few minutes right before you go to sleep. And I've used this myself on many occasions, and it's worked for me almost every single time. Okay, so what you want to do is when you get relaxed, take some deep breaths, you're laying down, you're getting ready to sleep, you're laying down in a position that you wouldn't normally sleep in, that way you don't fall asleep right away. And I want you to ask yourself this question, and this is going to connect you spiritually because you're going to be in that state akin to sleep. So you're going to be conscious but unconscious at the same time. So take a few deep breaths and get into this meditative state where you're kind of, you still have the direction of your attention, but you're kind of in that drift state, where you're sleepy, but you still have control of the direction of your attention. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself this question. This is the $10 million question. Okay, so ask yourself, what would I feel like right now? But get yourself very present when you do this. You're very relaxed. You have disconnected from the outside world, and you're by yourself, and you're realizing in yourself, deep down within you, you're realizing that the world is spiritual, that the world is a hologram, the world is a simulation, and facts don't really matter, circumstances don't really matter, and that you can have anything that you want. So I want you to get into this state before you ask these questions. So work on this a little bit. Okay, so when you get into this state and you're going to complete relax, you've disconnected from the three-dimensional world in the hologram. Okay, so you're connecting with the spiritually. You ask yourself, what would I feel like? What would I feel like right now, if I had this $10 million? If I had this $10 million, where would I be living? What would I be thinking? What would I be feeling if I had this $10 million? Who would I be? Who would I be right now if I had the $10 million? What kind of car would I be driving? What house would I be living? What kind of relationship would I be in? What would I be feeling right now if this were true? If I had this $10 million right now, this were true, not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now, not next week, right now. I have $10 million right now. How do I feel? How does that feel? Who am I in this state? And then after you ask these questions like this, then I want you to meditate on that feeling state and then allow the pictures to come into your mind, because you're going to start getting pictures. Your imagination is going to go to work. God at work now. You're asking these questions, so your imagination at work is God at work. So God in your imagination is now going to work and creating these pictures in your mind, and you're going to be conscious of these pictures. And I want you to be conscious of these pictures, because your mind, your imagination is going to go ahead of the fact. It's going to go ahead of this now. It's going to start creating pictures of you doing things with this $10 million. Then it's going to be creating that feeling state. And then you're going to trick the subconscious mind to believe that you are now a millionaire, a multimillionaire with this $10 million. And I want you to do this for about 30 seconds every time you ask this question. And I want you to ask this question about 5 times. And each time you ask the question, I want you to get in that feeling state and allow about 30 seconds to pass as you're just absorbing this into the subconscious, in this state akin to sleep, as you're going into the drift and impressing the subconscious mind with this new feeling. Who would I be right now if I had this $10 million? What would I feel? What would I be doing? Who would I be? Like, who would you be? Who would you be right now if you had the $10 million? How would you talk? How would you dress? What would you go buy? Like, what would you be doing? Like, you think about everything. Nothing is limited to you. You're an unlimited being, a completely unlimited being, and you're creating this state based on your knowledge of quantum physics, that the world we're living is a simulation and it's a hologram, and that circumstances don't matter. The only thing that matters is how you react to those circumstances. Are these good things that are happening to you, or are they bad things that are happening to you? And then you create your world and shift to different realities based on your reaction to those circumstances. So circumstances only matter when you react negatively to them. But if you look at them as if this is a hologram, which it is, then you have looked at it in that way, and then it's going to transform you to that world where you can manifest anything. And this is a secret with manifestation, is becoming the thing itself, thinking spiritually and not mentally. And then you become and transfer to a world where that is just the way that it becomes. You can use this technique for anything, not just creating $10 million. You can create $100,000 or $1 million, $3 million, or a relationship, or a good health, a new physique, anything that you want to create. You can do that with this technique before you fall asleep at night. You ask yourself this question 5 times, and then you allow 30-second intervals between each time that you ask the question. So if you wanted to change your physique, so you imagine what you would want your physical body to look like in the state that you wanted to see it in. What would you want your body to be like? And you ask that question, how would I feel right now if my body looked like this? Like, if my body was this body, the body that your dream body, it looked this way, and you were healthy and you were fit, you were athletic, you were muscled, or whatever your preference is that you would want your body to be like. You ask yourself that question as you go to sleep at night. What would I feel right now? How would I feel right now if I had this body, my dream body? It was done right now. Who would I have to be? And who would I be in this present moment if I had this body? How would I feel right now? And you allow yourself to just submerge in this feeling. Just completely saturate yourself with these questions in the present moment. In the present moment, you're asking these questions. How would I feel right now if this were already done? I already have this. I already have this relationship. I already have this physique. I already have this amount of money. I'm already happy. I'm already grateful. I already have everything that I want. You could put everything into one. How would it feel right now if my life was just perfect? And you create that feeling, and you know that this world is just a hologram. It's a simulation that's designed a specific way, and it operates from your feeling states. And just by knowing this, that changes everything, because this is the way that it operates. The hologram operates on your feeling states and what you tell it as you're falling asleep at night. What are you telling it that you have with your moods and your feeling states as you're falling asleep? And then it's recreated and expressed into your world. Then you transfer to that reality that makes it so. And it may not even be a lot of work. It may be something where you provide value and it's effortless. You provide value and it's effortless. Or you just go into the gym 20 minutes 3 or 4 times a week. It doesn't necessarily have to be all of this hard work either. It can be effortless. It can be simple. It may be a talent that you didn't even know that you had. And it's going to be something simple, something you enjoy doing, where you can provide and scale a service to millions of people. And you didn't even know you had this skill, but it's been with you since you were a child and you didn't even know that. But by impressing the subconscious mind with this feeling of you being this wealthy person or this happy, successful person with all of these things, then all of a sudden these doors open, these ideas start popping into your mind, and these phone calls start coming in. You start meeting these people, and all of a sudden this door opens and you have this opportunity and you walk through it. You walk through it and your entire life is set. Before you know it, you have the $10 million. You have more money than you know what to do with. And you've had this talent your entire life. Everyone has this talent within you. You are a limitless being. There's something inside of you right now. You have a skill within you right now, a talent. Every one of you has a talent and a skill within you where you can be extremely successful. And when you unlock this power and become a spiritual person, and you impress the subconscious mind with this feeling state as you're falling asleep, it's going to come to you. It's going to come to you. It's going to be attracted to you from your assumptions, because that's how the law of assumption and law of attraction work. You make an assumption and then it's attracted to you. The law of assumption, a law of attraction. It comes to you from your assumptions, and you'll be led to doors that are going to open for you. Everything is contained within you. You have the power to change your life right now by using this exercise. And I don't want to limit this exercise to any specific amount of nights, because you're going to enjoy this exercise. So you may want to do this every single night. Even after you have the $10 million, you may still want to do this. You may still want to make it feel like you're worth $100 million or $300 million or being in the perfect relationship. You may still want to create that feeling state because you like doing this exercise. But the more you do this exercise, the more you become this person, this concept of yourself connecting with this, and you're going to have this feeling all day long. You're constantly going to be creating this feeling state, and the subconscious mind is then going to be tricked, because once you set in motion a new version of yourself, a new concept of yourself, and the subconscious mind feels that new version of you that is successful, that is in a good relationship, that is grateful, that is successful, and it has a great physique and is healthy, it has to find methods in order to fulfill that obligation in your world. So it's going to transfer you to that world where it's going to mirror those things to you. It has to create the correlation between the two. Once it's tricked, it is confused, and then it has to create a world where all of that is actually happening in your world. The 3-dimensional world and the hologram have to shift in order to solidify your feeling states. It has to create that for you once it's impressed in the subconscious mind. And this exercise is very simple, and it's very fun, and it can make you feel great. And that's the point of it. So I don't want to limit to a certain amount of days. You may do it for one night. You may do it for 3 nights, 7 nights, 100 nights. Just keep creating things this way and getting in that habit of taking control of your feeling states as you're falling asleep. And that's the main key until your life gets to a certain point, and then you're automatically feeling this way as you're falling asleep. And that's the key to this exercise. So repeat the question, whatever it is that you desire. You repeat that question 5 times, and each time you ask the question to yourself as you're laying in bed in this state of receptivity, you absorb that feeling state for 30 seconds in between each time you ask the question. So how would I feel right now if I had $100 million? Okay, and then you wait 30 seconds and you absorb yourself and allow the pictures to come into your mind and play out and create this feeling. And then after that, you ask it again, and you ask it again, and you ask it again, and you ask it 5 times, and then you just allow yourself to then fall asleep in this feeling state. And if you're falling asleep too fast, there's another method that I can give you, and it's something that I use when I'm trying to create something very, very quickly. And I'll hold a tennis ball or any kind of a ball in my hand as I'm falling asleep with my hand on the side of the bed. And when I'm visualizing something, when I fall asleep, the ball will drop from your hand, and you'll know that, and it'll wake you up. It'll wake you up, and then you can grab the ball again, hold it back in your hand, and then start the process again, the visualization or asking yourself questions, and creating this feeling state. So you'll know when you fall asleep, then you'll wake up as soon as you drop the ball, and then you can start again and start again and start again. Sometimes I'll do this all night long if I'm trying to create something very, very quickly, or it's an emergency or something I'm trying to do. I'll stay up all night long just visualizing and then falling asleep, impressing that subconscious mind. If I missed it, I'll go right back into it again, pick the ball up, I'll fall asleep again, drop the ball, and then I'll pick the ball back up. You do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. And then I've had this happen. I've had it to where I've created things the very first night when I do this. And I'm also going to put a card on the screen to a sleep meditation where I will be impressing your subconscious mind by asking you very similar questions as you're falling asleep. So if you don't want to ask the questions to yourself, then you can click on that card on the screen right now, and I will ask you the questions as you're falling asleep and creating that feeling state for you. All right, guys, I love you, and don't forget to give me one thing you are grateful for in the comment box below, or any comments or any future content you would like me to cover. I read all the comments. Leave a comment. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.
I go into these states